Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar. Today we are working on our Design Space 101 series. This is part F. This is the 7th one in our series and the last one in our series, and it is on SnapMat. Really excited to have you here today. We have over 700 plus people registered for our class, so we know this is a hot topic. We will be starting up the Design Space 101 series again here next week with part A and part B, going through the homepage and the canvas. So if you have just started joining us on our webinars, don't worry about it. You can join us. We're going to start these all over again, starting with part A. So really excited to have you here with us today. Let's get going, everyone. I'm going to quickly just show you who I am. Some of you know who I am because you join me every time. I'm really excited that we have people coming back. My name's Kestin. I am the Director of Education and Experience here at Cricut. And I have two others that are joining us, Karen and Brigham, two pros that are here to answer questions as they arise. Since we have over 700 people attending our class today, they're helping me out so I don't have to stop in the presentation and demonstration to answer questions. They're on the line ready to help you. So the advantage of joining this class is really to get your answers that you're looking for in real time. So we want to encourage you to ask away. Okay, so let's get started with our agenda. So we will go through a few little housekeeping tips and the objectives, and then we'll get right into the demonstration. There is a survey at the end that I always encourage you to participate. I think I have 4 really quick questions. It really helps me know what you're interested in learning and how we did today and how we can improve, and we're always interested in improving. So it will come on right at the very end of the webinar, and you'll have some questions, really simple. Okay, guys, the first thing, this class is designed for that newbie, someone who is just starting out. Those of you that have had your Cricut for a while doesn't mean you're not welcome to attend. Just know that we've designed this curriculum specifically for that Cricut newbie. And maybe you've had it for a long time and you still consider yourself a Cricut newbie. I did for a long time, you guys. So welcome aboard, everyone. And then if you have questions, you should have a control panel from the GoToWebinar in the top right-hand corner on your computer, or if you're looking at from a device, you'll have a control panel and you can see the word where it says question, and there's an arrow. You can click on the arrow and it will drop down for you to ask your questions. We have so many of you joining us. We'd like you to focus your questions on the content that we're learning so everyone's question can be answered during this session. And that's where you go to get help. Brigham and Karen are standing by ready to take your questions. There are 2 handouts that are associated with this class. So right below or maybe above on yours, there should be a section on the control panel that says handouts. And what you can do is download those. You can just drag them over to your desktop or laptop if you're working from your computer, or click on it and download them. One is the manual for SnapMat, and the other has tips and tricks for working with SnapMat. So they're really helpful handouts. So you might want to take advantage of downloading those before the webinar ends, because you will not have access to them. So if you want to do that now, that would be a good idea. In a little bit over 24 hours, you will receive an email from me thanking you for attending, and also a recording will be attached to that email in case you get called away or the doorbell rings or the dog needs to go out during our webinar. You can have access to the recording and watch it later if you desire. And I already talked to you about the survey at the end. So let's get started with our objectives. So what are you going to learn today? You're going to understand the purpose and the benefit of SnapMat. We'll also be demonstrating from an iPad with the Cricut iOS app. All right. You're going to learn how to cut with the SnapMat. You'll learn how to write with SnapMat and understand the best practices that we recommend when using SnapMat. Okay. So those are your objectives. So let's just get into why SnapMat. What is the purpose? And SnapMat, what does that mean? It means exactly as the name indicates. Snap is like a picture of your mat, right? And you will see that how that works in a few minutes of your device actually taking a picture of your mat. And what that does is it gives you some freedom to cut where you want to cut. It will give you the freedom to write where you want to write and even save what you want to save. So those are the purposes. It benefits you because, and this is what I use it for mostly, is utilizing my scrap material so I don't let anything go to waste. And this is a really fun way to make use of the scrap materials that you have from vinyl, iron-on, paper, anything like that, any of your materials, and it saves time. Honestly, I used to just kind of stick to the computer version of my laptop in Design Space and didn't really venture out to my iPad or even my phone. And I've been working exclusively on these, preparing for this class, and I'm telling you what, it is so great. It saves me so much time. I'm a lot more efficient, it seems. Sometimes I like to use my desktop so I can see a big screen if I'm designing something. But when I'm actually going to cut things, I'm finding that my iPad and iPhone, wow, it's the way to go. It's super fast, and it gives me that flexibility of what materials I'm going to use. So I want to demonstrate what I mean by those purposes and benefits. So what you need to know, first of all, you need to make sure either on your phone, it's an iPhone or an iPad, that you have downloaded the Design Space app. And I apologize for those of you that are using Android devices. We're working on it. We know that it's something that a lot of you are desiring, and we know that we want to make sure that everyone has access. And so hang tight, it's coming. We don't know when, but we do know about it and we're working on it. So today, it's strictly for iOS feature only. So that means your iPhone or your iPad, okay? And what you want to make sure you have the latest edition of Design Space on your device. And how do you do that? Well, it's pretty simple. What you're going to do is get your iPad and go to the App Store, right? And click on the App Store and make sure that you have the latest edition. And sometimes if you have it already, right? If you don't, download it, and you can just search for Cricut Design Space. If you know that you have the app on your phone or your device and you want to make sure it's updated, just look for at the bottom where it says updates and click updates, and it will let you know. And mine says there is an update, right? I just updated it honestly 2 hours ago. I swear I did. But it's telling me I have an update. You'll want to make sure that you have the latest update, right? So all of those, if there are any bugs or anything like that, it's functioning at its optimal level. So that's how you make sure you get started. If you want to do this with me, make sure that you have downloaded the app. And I have the app on both my phone and my iPad, right? And it just gives me that flexibility. Okay, let's see. I'm getting a message that some people are not hearing me. Let me just double check here and see how we're doing. Okay. I'm going to ask Karen or Brigham is anyone not being able to hear me or see me? Okay, it looks like we're okay. All right, you guys, before we go into demo mode, I want to do a poll and see, have any of you used that, that any of you have used SnapMat at all? So let's go ahead and launch this poll. And if you don't mind, just quickly vote for me. Have you used SnapMat successfully? Okay, it looks like about 85% of you have voted. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll and share the results with you. Interesting. Okay, a lot of you just haven't tried yet. Only 8% have used it successfully and 27% have not. So my goal is to make sure that by the end of this webinar, you will have success using the SnapMat. So I appreciate you taking part in that poll. And let's go forward, shall we? I wanted to show you a couple of things that I use SnapMat for when I say I use my scraps. So I wanted to show you one of my mats that I had. So here's one of my mats, and I just had a lot of leftover glitter paper, cardstock, and I had cut something else here, but I had this leftover, and so I just put it on my mat, and I cut just some tags that I like putting on gifts. Sometimes I don't want to actually go through and make an official card. I just want to put a little tag on a bag. And this is a great way to utilize your scraps. Pretty simple. It's a really simple way to do it. I want to show you how to do this. It's a really just a simple circle shape. I also did this with my gold leftover poster paper. I used all of it up. I wanted to show you. It's all used up, and I made some cute tags. Made 8 cute tags for gifts, and I just put a little sticker on it in the center or not, and I can just write on the back to, from. I use this a lot with kids' gifts because usually the card is not even looked at anyway. So just knowing, hey, this is from someone, and that was good enough. So these tags come in really handy, and it's a great way to use your scraps. So let's get started, and I'll show you how to do this. So I have someone who's going to use my webcam, and she'll come and show what my screen looks like here on my iPad. Melissa, say hi. Hi, everybody. So let's see here. Now, okay, make sure everybody can see. That's kind of a weird view. Okay, okay. Hopefully there's not a glare. All right, you guys. So I'm going to get in Design Space. Here's my app, and just touch Design Space. Okay. I'm going to get onto the home page. There's so many cute things. If you haven't been in Design Space recently, you need to check it out. There's so many darling projects. Well, I want to go to the canvas. So I'm going to go right in the top right-hand corner and click Canvas. Okay. Let's go. Maybe that might be better so it won't get a glare. How's that? Better? Okay, so what I'm going to do, because I'm going to show you how to cut with paper, some leftover paper to make some tags. What I want to do is I'm just going to add some shapes. So down here on the bottom, you'll see where it says shapes. If you want to do this with me, please follow along and just touch shapes. And you can see there are a variety of shapes from which to choose. I showed you a circle. I showed you a heart. Okay, so you could do anything really. You could do a star, you could do a pentagon, you could do a hexagon. Okay, so let's just have a couple here out for you. And they're all on, they're the same color right now. So I'm just going to leave them all the same color because we know that mats are organized by what? Color. Raise your hand if you knew that. Raise your hand if you knew that mats were organized by color. I'm just going to double check my friends here, Nikki and Nancy and Brenda. Hi. Diane, awesome. Nancy, Yvette, you all knew that. That's one of those things that you just need to know. It'll help you in what you're doing. So it's going to be organized on one mat. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how to create, let's see, the little tag holder, just making a hole in your tag so you can hang it on your bag or whatever. And so I just add another circle. Okay, so I am going to make this a little bit bigger so everybody can see. And so here I have my circle. I'm going to make it really small. Can you see that? Really small, just enough to get the string through. And I'm going to set it over. I love the iPad because it helps you align it. I should probably put it on a color so you can see. Let me do that again because it's hard to see. I'm going to add another circle. Maybe I can do it without it. You can see that little circle. It's too small, Melissa. There we go. And I'm just going to set it here, and you can see when it gets in the center, it will show that alignment there. You can see a little bit of a T showing me that I've centered it and aligned it. I don't want it too close to the top, so I don't want it to cut. So now I'm going to select this again, come down here and click Actions. And I want to slice. Okay, let's see if I can do this again. Select. I may have two. I do. I had more than one. That's why it wouldn't allow me to slice. So I'm going to put it right here again. Get it centered. Select and click Slice. Now I can just click that out and away and say goodbye to that little piece. And there I have my tag. Simple as that. Okay, I could do that for all of these. And so I have, I'm just going to do maybe two just to make it simpler for you. So I have my little circle. I'm going to drag it over and just center it. Select both items. Come down to the bottom where I am looking at Actions and click Slice right here. It's going to take a little bite out of that. And there it is, and I can just click out of that. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is I want to size them. So I can click here and I can see if you look at the width and the height, you can see it's 2.75. I think I want to do about a 3" by 3" tag. And so I want to get this one sized similarly, about a 3", something close to that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and duplicate because on my mat I have several pieces of scrap paper that I think I'd like cut for tags. So I have this one's already selected. So I'm going to come down here. I already have my Actions open, and there's the duplicate button, and I can just click on maybe 4. I'll come here and click on this round tag and duplicate it. Okay, so now I'm ready to make these tags. I'm just going to click down on the very bottom and say Make It. So you can see there are all of my tags, and they're on a mat, and they're on one mat. Well, I want to use this mat here. Let me take the little plastic off, and I have wires everywhere, folks. So I want to use this mat, because these are my scraps. And so what I want to do is I want to use the snap map feature that's here on my device. So here's what you do. Let's see if Melissa can get in kind of tight here. We're going here to this bottom left-hand corner, and it says Snap Mat, right? If I clicked over in the right hand, it would continue going forward to cut these out on my machine. But I want to use Snap Mat because I don't necessarily want that configuration, right? I want to have that flexibility, if you will, to use my scraps. So here we go. I'm going to click Snap Mat. And automatically you can see it's ready to take a picture, a snapshot of my mat. The best way I can tell you is taking a picture of your snap mat. I usually put my mat on the floor. So I'm going to put it on the floor, and I'm going to hold my iPad over. Let's see, we're going to get a glare. Let's see, Melissa. We're going to hold this over. And what I'm trying to do is put my mat in the box, and you can see there are these blue dots that I'm trying to align. And I need to just adjust down or up, and then it will take a picture. I'm also trying to see the little notch. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get the notch of it looks like a shape of a sombrero or something, right? A hat right here at the top to align as well. And that will help me get it to snap on and take a picture. So it's saying position the mat close to the frame's edge, and the app will scan it automatically. And I'm just holding it and trying to get it to take its picture. Sometimes you guys, if you've got a jiggly hand, you might want to rest the iPad or your phone on a table so it will take that picture for you. Sometimes patient, absolutely. Just being patient and wait it out, adjust it, trying to get it parallel to the floor and have it take that picture. Let's see. I think I need to come out just a little. You know what? It's so funny. I did this like 1,000 times today just to practice. So I'm like, oh, it was so easy. It's saying, Matt, it might be too close. So I'll come back here and try it again. And I'm hovering over it parallel. I'm looking at those blue dots and trying to take a picture of it. And it did it. I'm going to turn this around, Melissa, so if you can get this. I know, thank heavens it took a picture of it for us today. There you go. So it takes a picture and it's asking me, do you want to use this picture that I've taken? You can retake it. I'm not doing that. I'm going to use it, right? So I'm happy with that. I'm going to click use. So check out what happens. All of those things that I had on my design canvas are here, and I can move them to put them directly over that paper. So I'm going to touch and just move it over. That's going to be a close cut. I think I'm going to move that over here. And I'm looking at this one. I'll move it here. I've made them pretty big, and I'll try to fit as many as I can. I guesstimated how many I could fit. Yeah, I want to show up in the top right-hand corner, there's a little arrow that I could maybe adjust this and see if I can move it down here and turn it. See if that would work. I need to fix this one too. Or I could just say, you know, if that doesn't work, I can go back into Design Space and resize it if I want. Or I could just say, you know what, that one I don't know if it's going to work. I'm going to click on these 3 dots. If you can come right in there. and I'll click on those three dots, and it's saying, do you want to move this to another mat, or do you want to hide it? I'm just going to say, hide that one, right? So I'm going to have all of these cut. And I've had the opportunity to decide where and what color. That gives me the flexibility I was talking about. And it shows me I'm going to cut. If this was, I was going to write, it would say draw, but I'm going to cut. It's telling me what it's going to do. It's going to cut. It's going to cut on a 12 by 12 mat, and the mirroring is off. So what I want to do now is I want to come to the bottom right hand corner and say continue. Okay, no device connected yet. So what I want to do is make sure my device is connected, and I'm going to connect it via Bluetooth, and I know my maker is this one, and it takes just a minute. There we go. And you can see down here in the bottom right hand corner, it has recognized my device, and it's just turning and twirling a little bit, getting ready and reading my device. Okay, thank you. So it's just getting ready now for me to choose my material. And what's important, you guys, with this, when I put my scraps down on my mat, I must use the same material. And this is why, because I have to choose the material that's on the mat. And if I have 3 different types of material, guess what? I may not get an accurate cut only on one type. So I'm using shimmer paper here, and so I need to go and click shimmer. So I looked at all materials, and I'm just going to type in shimmer. And there it is, shimmer paper. Select it. Okay. And yeah, if you had like foil or vinyl and shimmer paper, you'd have some trouble with the accuracy of the cut. So we need to make sure, that's a big tip for you, is make sure you have the same type of material on your mat. Okay. So now it says go ahead and load it and get ready to go, and it will cut. So I think we're going to go on to our next one, and I'm not going to cut this one. I want to show you another way to use Snap Mat, and that is to write with it. So yeah, well, let's just go ahead, and it's on this. Let's go ahead. I want to show you some envelopes that I've made already. I love the personalized look of putting an envelope to a handwriting type of thing. So there's that one, and there's another one I did. It just personalizes it, and if you don't have great handwriting, it's another way to make it look good. And we were throwing stuff around, and we might have thrown that one. It's here it is. Okay. So this one shows a little bit more with the handwriting. It looks like someone has some beautiful handwriting. So this is really easy with Snap Mat, you guys. Super easy. Let me show you how to do it. So I'm going to go back into the canvas, and I want a new canvas. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to select everything and click it out. Actually, I want to go home because I saved something into my projects. And I'm just going here to categories. Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. Categories. My project on this iPad. And I already loaded a text, but you can go ahead and add a text and type in the address, but I wanted one just preloaded to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and click open that. Go ahead and replace the project because we just did the tags. I'm going to click replace, and let me make this a little bit bigger for you to see. Okay, so here it is. So there's my text that I want to put on this blank envelope. How do I do that? snap mat, you guys. It's the best. So what I want to do is I've already measured my envelope, and this is a really small thank you card envelope. So I want to size this writing so it won't be too big or too small for my envelope. So when I hold on to the handle to size it, it's telling me the width right now is close to 3 inches by 1 inch. So I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to hold onto my handle, and I think I want to put it closer to 2 3/4 inch by 1 1/4. And that's about the size that I want. So it would look something like this one here. Okay. And then simple, click make it. Map preview in use. Do you want to replace it? Yes, I do. So click replace, and now it's showing me here on the mat, this is where it would go. But I want to determine where it's going to be placed on the mat. And how do I do that? I do that by clicking here in the bottom left-hand corner, Snap Mat. And it's getting ready now to take a picture. So what I want to do, I'm going to put that down for a minute. Here's my mat, and I'm going to position my envelope here on the mat, and really it can be anywhere, right? Wherever you want it. And you could even do several envelopes, because several of these little sized envelopes would fit on this mat, and I could do many at a time. But for our purposes today, I'm just showing you one to keep it simple. So now I'm going to put this mat on the floor, because that seems to be my best success in taking a picture that's accurate and steady. So and it has some contrast too. So that seems to be easier for your camera to take that picture. So I'm going to have a little bit of a contrast there. I'm going to hold my iPad directly over the mat, like so. Let's see. Ooh, oh, in seconds. See, now this is what I practiced, Melissa, and it worked just like that. So here we go. It's showing me that it took a picture. And do I like this picture? Absolutely. What? A second? A second. I'm going to click use this. So you want to do something here and not just leave it like this, because it will start writing on your mat right up here. You want it to write on the envelope. So I'm going to touch and drag it over to my envelope. Yeah, let's zoom in there. Okay. And position it wherever you want. I kind of like it right about there. And it's ready to go. All I have to do now is click continue. If I didn't like it and I wanted to redo a picture and redo that snap, I have the ability to click in this bottom left-hand corner, and it's red and it says unsnap, and you can go back and adjust. Maybe your sizing was wrong, or you didn't like it and you wanted to take another picture of it. You can do that at this point. Go ahead and click continue, and it's getting ready to prepare to go ahead and write this on your envelope, which is really cool. It takes a little bit of time processing, so that's always something that you just need to know. It takes a few seconds. It depends on your connectivity, really, to the internet. So here it is. It's asking me to select my material. Sorry, we're getting a glare. Still a glare. Melissa, thank you so much. All right, so my envelope is as thin as like copy paper, so I'm just going to click one of my favorites of copy paper, and it's getting ready to go. It's saying load your black 0.4 tip pen and load it, and let's get ready to go. Should we show this one, Melissa? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so I'll grab my mat off the floor with the envelope. I'm going to put my iPad down for a moment. Here we go. So I'm going to make sure, thank you. I love this with the maker that you can put your device handy dandy right in this little groove here. I'm going to make sure my mat is under here. You don't want it over, right? These guides, the mat needs to be under the guides here, and have it as close as you can to the roller, because if there's a gap, when I click the load button, the roller starts to move and it's trying to grasp your mat. If there's air and space between there, there's nothing for it to grasp, and it might not load it the way that it needs to be loaded. So just the tip of the day, have it underneath your guides, have it up against your rollers, and it also, reminded me, hey, have your pen loaded in clamp A. So I put my pen in just like this. And a little tip for you, I like to hold the bottom of the clamp and just make sure my pen is in secure mode, right? Otherwise, if you just drop it in, it's not necessarily securely in. And I can tell that it's in when I hold this. Plus, if I had paper under here, it would mark it. I just push that down and it's secure. Lock the clamp and we're ready to go. It's indicating go ahead and load your mat. So I'm going to click the load button. And when it's ready, the Cricut light will start blinking and it's ready to go. So I just am going to click it and it will start reading it, usually pretty darn fast. There we go. And it's starting to write. It's so great. I don't even have to lift a finger to write on this envelope. It's so nice. What's super great about this too is it shows just a little added care that you've gone to extra care in making sure that you have a beautifully written envelope that is flawless. It's just a cool thing to receive, don't you think, Melissa? It's nice. It shows that you care. And I know a lot of you out there love to do things like this because you want to show people how much you care about them and that you're thinking about them. While that is writing, I wanted to do a poll with you. I want to know what you are excited about making with the Snap Mat feature. So let's go ahead and just take this poll really quick. How would you like to utilize the Snap Mat feature? I've talked about a few of these and I've shown you. Some I have not yet. So would you like to use all of your scraps on various materials? I want you to choose the one that you're going to do first, or personalize writing on cards or envelopes, or cut different colors of the same material to save time. Maybe that's what you're looking for. Or you could even load a picture and cut it out of a certain size. Maybe you want to have a heart-shaped picture to go on a scrapbook page or a card. Or maybe you have another purpose in mind. Go ahead and vote. Which one do you think you'd be most likely to do first? I'm kind of curious of how this voting is going to go. There's so many fun things that you can do with this Snap Mat feature, and it's just, we just need the time. Oh, I know, quilting. I didn't even mention that. Oh, yes. Melissa just brought up fussy cutting. Those of you that are quilters, you know that's what you want to do. Go ahead and put I have other purpose in mind if that's what you want to do. Okay, I'm going to close the poll. It looks like more than 85% of you have voted. So let's see what our audience here in our class, what are you most likely going to do? You're going to use up all those scraps. I know, it's such a good way to use it. Also, personalizing writing is at 28%, cutting different colors, cutting photos, and 3% of you have something else in mind. So now that you voted, I want you to go and do that, right? If you say you're going to use up some of those scraps, that is your call to action today, folks. Actually go and do that. You saw how to do it. It's really quite simple. Okay, this one had, let's just go ahead and finish that writing up. I'm going to close the results here. We're almost finished with the writing on the envelope, and I wanted to show you the final. It's cut complete. So I'm going to click unload so you can see it. Look at that. It turned out really nice. And it's a beautiful handwritten envelope. No one would know the wiser, but they're going to think I have some mighty fine writing. I think it just looks perfect. So I encourage you to try this out. It was really simple, wasn't it? And it didn't take very long. It took a second for us to even snap the mat. So pretty cool feature. I want to show you one last demonstration, and I wanted to show you how you could use your scraps of vinyl. And so I have this holographic vinyl. I love, by the way, the holographic vinyl, but I've found that I have a lot of scraps, and it's kind of, you know, an expensive thing, but I don't want it to go to waste and just throw it away. So how would I use my scraps of holographic vinyl? Well, I would love to have some phrases written maybe that I could put, just like you. A lot of you love vinyl because you like putting tags on things or hanging a phrase or something on your wall. For my purposes today, I thought I'd demonstrate something that my son actually asked me for. He asked me if I would make something for his swim team. So I'm going to go back to home, and I had actually done this prior. I had just gone in and made a text, and here's his swim team. I just did a simple text, and I'm going to replace what was on there. Let me make it big so you can see. Let's see. Make it like this. Okay. So my son actually is a swimmer, and he loves to make sure everybody knows he's on the swim team. But he also wants his team to start putting vinyl on their bags and backpacks and various items. And so he wants me to cut a lot of vinyl pieces indicating he's on the swim team. So I just simply inserted a text and typed in THS swim. And now what I want to do is size it so it will fit here on my scraps. And so I know that my scraps are about 6 inches in width. So I'm going to go ahead and size it. When I move this, you should be able to see, I'm touching this handle, you should be able to see width and height. Let's see, there you go. And there's about 6 inches. I could go in and hand put that in if I want, but I'm just doing a little bit of guess work here, and it should be fine. So I've got, let me just show that one more time. Let me move this so you can see. So right now I've got it set for a little bit bigger than I want. Here we go. And about like that. Let's see if that works. Okay, so what am I going to do? I want to use my scraps here. What I want to do is just click make it. So I'm going to click in the bottom and replace what was on there. And there you go. It's already aligning it and optimizing in the top left hand corner of my mat. But I don't want it to cut right there, because if you look at my mat over here, there's nothing over here, and it would start cutting at my mat because I don't have material. So I need to use my snap mat feature. So looking here at my iPad, snap mat, bottom left-hand corner, touch it, and it's ready to take its picture. So let's take a picture of my mat. I set it on the floor. That seems to be the best to work for me. And I'm parallel to the floor, and I'm trying to line it up and position it. I'm hovering right over it, and I'm using these little blue indicators to help me get level. And sometimes if you're holding it in a weird way, too high or too low, it's not level. I'm trying to align it so it's within the square. Let's see. Fast last time, wasn't I, Melissa? Let's see. Getting closer. Closer. Oh, position that mat close to the frame's edge. Just tip it just a bit. Oh, it's so close. Let's see. Maybe I'm too close. Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to move it over so there's more of a contrast, and immediately it worked. Isn't Melissa smart? Okay, so there's my picture, and here's my mat. So what do I want to do? Do I want to retake this, or do I want to use it? Raise your hand if you know. What do I want to do, guys? I'm just going to see who knows. All right. Becky knows. Shirley knows. Julianne knows. You want to use it. So you click top right. Use this mat. Okay. So here's something that was kind of interesting, that I only did it once here, right? Raise your hand if you know, what should I have done to maximize my scraps here? What should I have done to maximize my scraps? And it's not hard to go back and fix. In fact, I wanted you to see how you could go back. Lots of you know. Charlene knows, Nancy knows, Anna Marie knows. Yes, I should have duplicated THS Swim 2 more times so I could utilize these scraps. So what am I going to do? Guess what? I'm going to unsnap it. Melissa, are you okay with that? Unsnap. Yes, you can. I'm going to go back to my canvas and I'm going to duplicate. Oh, okay. I'm going to click make it in the bottom right hand corner. Go ahead and replace. Okay. Right up here, it's showing me a picture of a mat. Okay. And it's saying project copies 1. I could have duplicated it, but we wanted to show you this feature. And it's showing me the cut. It's going to cut this. So that's good to know. But I'm going to change this. And I'm just going to punch in, I want 3 copies of it. Right? So I want 3 because I have 3 scraps. Now I'm ready to go ahead and go back, click continue. Oh, guess what I did, Melissa? I didn't do snap mat. Oh, I love it that you're learning. You're learning from my errors. I love it. I'm going to go back to the beginnings and like have a redo. So I've got my sentiment here. I'm going to click make it. Yes, I'm going to replace what's on my mat. I'm going to go up in the top left-hand corner and click my copies. I'm going to change it to 3. Touch my screen. And now, folks, I've only done it a few times, but let's do it one more time. Snap mat, bottom left-hand corner, touch. It's ready. Let's put our mat on our contrasting square here. Hold in seconds, my friends. In seconds, look at it. And yeah, it looks a little blurry. I'm going to use this mat, and now I need to place what I want cut over the pieces of material. So I'm going to touch and move. Touch and move. Notice I could twist it and turn if I need to. It does give me that feature, and that really helped us when we had shapes, but I don't really need it for this one. Touch and move. Okay, so now I want it to cut, and it's telling me, hey, it's going to cut this. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue. If I had iron on, by the way, I would have wanted to have mirrored that writing, but since this is vinyl, we don't. Only on iron on. So I'm going to click continue, and then it will go to the material screen and allow me to go through and cut. So with that, that will get you where you need to go. I'm going to take my camera. Thank you, Miss Melissa. And let's review some things and go through the tips. So the best practices. We learned some today from my mistakes. So I hope you were keeping track of those mistakes, right? But be sure the edges of your mat are not curled up, because that would affect how you would take that picture. And for best results, you saw me lay it flat on the ground. I have tried and I have failed when I've held it and in front of me and tried to take a picture. It just is hard. And so my go-to is the floor. And if I needed to get the steadiness, I would have laid that iPad on the table to give me something sturdy if I was a little bit shaky. Also, you saw how having a contrasting background helps that camera detect the edges of the mat. You witnessed that. It definitely helped when I moved it over to the green part of the carpet. Boom, it happened in seconds. Also, the outside edge of your mat must be visible for proper detection. So this outside portion of it, especially what I was talking about, the little hat up here, it needs to be able to detect it to take the picture of it accurately. And to make sure that your material isn't hanging over the edge and nothing is overlapping. You don't want your materials to be overlapping. Okay. Last thing, if you get stuck, my friends, call help. Really, I've told you this many times. I have 8777 Cricut in my favorites, and don't be afraid of calling them. We have a fabulous member cares center, and they are there waiting for you to talk to them, and they'll walk you through it. If you want them to walk you through the snap mat process, they will. They're so great. Honestly, I highly recommend it. And I know a lot of people like chatting. I do too, because it seems really fast. So just a tip, I'll use chat for the quick answers, but don't be afraid to get on your phone and talk to them and have them walk you through something if you're stuck. They're great. They really are. They communicate well, they listen well, and they get you through it. So let's talk about what we did today, you guys. I'm really excited. You learned the benefits. You learned what the purpose of Snap Mat is. You learned how to use it with the iPad. You learned how to write. You learned how to cut, and you learned the best practices in action through my mistakes and through the things that I did well. So I'm really excited that you joined me today, and I really encourage you to, if you haven't already and you have an iPad or an iPhone, download the Cricut app and get it going. Try it out. I am a firm believer in it now, and at first I wasn't, but it does save me time, and it just is really convenient. Cut a basic shape. Try those tags, you guys. This is practical for me, and I am all about practicality, and this works. I will use these things, and I've made use of my scraps, and so I don't feel so bad about just wasting materials. And try this card thing. Isn't it great? I love it. Send someone a thank you note today and have it personally addressed to them. Make something really fun, you guys. I encourage you to get in there and have some fun. Have some fun with SnapMat. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you try, you'll get it, and it won't be so cumbersome. You can do this. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me today, and we'll see you on Thursday if you want to join me again for this class on SnapMat. Have a great day, everybody.